Welcome back and thank you for staying with us here at Hot 7 TV. Police have arrested 3 males, including 1 former convict and 1 teenager, after the trio was caught attempting to smuggle contraband into the Borderley Correctional Facility. According to officials, the 3 men aged 19, 24, and 34 were caught with cannabis, 2 mobile phones, and cigarette paper. BCF Director Hilary Herman said the smuggling of contraband has been an ongoing issue. However, officials decided to take steps towards getting to the bottom of it by introducing a surveillance team. The arrest was made on Tuesday after the men were spotted at the compound at about 3:45 a.m. Once close enough, they reportedly launched several packages over the fence. The trio was taken to the Dennery police station and the prison was placed on lockdown. In the near future, Herman said, the BCF is looking at the possibility of using virtual visits. He went on to implore BCF officers to step up and be more vigilant. In other news, Castries Southeast MP Guy Joseph says the UWP remains in a constant state of readiness for the call of the next general election. Joseph says the party's interest remains in its own preparation and no development from other political parties will deter its efforts.
Following a recent launch of the SLP election campaign, Castries South MP Guy Joseph was probed on the readiness of the United Workers' Party to contest. According to Joseph, the UWP has been prepared from the second it assumed office.
We are always ready for elections. There's no political party who should not always be ready for elections. I mean, from the day we came into office, we started working. And you know when you work because you have 5 years in government. Elections can be called before the 5 years.
Joseph spoke to suggestions that a set date ought to be commissioned for the general elections. He says his own personal belief is in favor of putting such measures in place.
What I think it is that on very few occasions have you seen elections go past the due date. Usually you get the elections prior to the due date. So I am comfortable with the present system. I'm not saying a fixed date would not work, but I'm neither here nor there on where it is. I would prefer a fixed date personally, but these are things that you have to look at in the context of our democratic system and the changes that would be required.
He says the UWP's interest remains in its own preparation, and developments from other parties will not deter its efforts. Joseph welcomed the emergence of the St. Lucia National Party.
When you're in a free democratic society, that is what democracy, that's the good thing about democracy. It allows everybody to be able to exercise their democratic right, and I always welcome people who think that they have a contribution that they can make.
He says competition is the spirit of democracy, and the UWP is confident in its own abilities. Joseph looks forward to an exciting election. Jacka Wooding, Hot 7 News.
Coming out of the June 15th meeting, where the decriminalization and subsequent legalization of marijuana was discussed, the St. Lucia Cannabis movement has begun singing praises that the long-awaited decision will be delivered sooner rather than later. Andrew DeKairis, member of the Cannabis movement, says the meeting and all discussions were done in a cordial manner, and he believes that by the end of 2020, the herb will be decriminalized.
Cabinet met with a team from Invest St. Lucia and the legal team, the Cannabis Movement, the Ayanola Council for the Advancement of Rastafari, ICA, and the Cannabis Commission to discuss the legalization of marijuana on June 15th. Coming out of this meeting, Andrew DeKairis of the Cannabis Movement says the meeting has restilled much faith in those agitating for the legalization of the herb.
I believe that we will look just on that meeting there that seems so positive that we will get definite change in laws this year, 2020.
DeKairis says Cabinet now has the power to agree or deny whether the full legalization will take place, something he strongly believes will happen. He did, however, note that the process to legalize is not just at the yes of Parliament, but rather a committee has to be formed to delve into the iniquities and specifics of cannabis being legal.
What has to happen now? The cabinet has to come up with a conclusion, and if the conclusion says go ahead, we must form another committee to really do detailed regulations that would be incorporated in a bill. That's like how much you could have in your pocket, how many plants in your yard, what the licensing regime would be, who could grow, what's the size of the plots, the taxation for the investor. So many other things have to go into it that would be detailed, that a separate committee would have to be formed for us to develop a bill that would be passed in Parliament.
So what makes the 2020 discussion any different from the other discussions in previous years? Dikari says the team in charge was a lot more dedicated.
Well, this time we had a commission that actually did work and actually did research, economics. The Bureau of Standards was on it, the Ministry of Health, everybody was on it.
Dikari says he is positive that Cabinet will make the right decision, as the meeting was very engaging and the ministers present had a lot to say and the many questions and concerns were answered. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve.
Members of the public spoke their minds on a variety of issues impacting society and their livelihoods during an open mic activity held by our camera team.
Today in the city of Castries, members of the public speak to an open mic.
NIC, I feel that put a bluff on St. Lucians, because there's a partner of mine over 3 months, he filed in, and every weekend he have to be coming and look for money, and the man's sick, the man don't have money. Sometimes I have to leave here to give him a ride to go home because he have a health problem. So I feel if NIC wasn't serious about paying people, they should never come with that. And what really hurts me is what the first set of people they're saying they're paying is taxi driver. And that is a bluff, my brother. That is a bluff. Secondly, Ministry of Tourism, right now they're on the back of taxi drivers. I am asking them to leave taxi drivers alone. Do not interfere in the taxi sector, because the people that are at the offices, they are the ones that's setting up different groups for them to take trips, all the different jobs for them to filter it down to the taxi drivers for $0. Leave the taxi drivers alone. And NIC, you all know you all wasn't serious. Don't bluff the people. The Queenad.
Depuis le corona a commencé, il a affecté moi. Je n'ai fait des sous. Je suis gaz moins vieux là, je n'ai pas fait. Plus, c'est nom là passé ici, je dis moi NAS numéro moins. Et puis, non moins adresse moi tout bail. Jig Jordi est un moment dollar. Il dit qu'il y a $500. Jig Jordi moi pas même 5 cents. So moi même pas en faveur no puis tout ces avant dans ces monde dans ces gens les bacs qui dit dans en bail en ICS yo ka travail bail les bail yo ka mess up moun en pays moi même pas content sa pièce.
A lot of things that come into life, and maybe they have been just bragging about it and talking about it, but now it's for real. Who for you, who not for you, just not for you, and you just there suffering in a pandemic crisis time. So we need to be a little bit more partial and enough of the bullying and the being rude around the place, and try to treat the people nice, and because we need the people. Let me say that. I believe we need the people, so we have to treat people nice so we can get people in return. Now, if you don't treat me nice, I don't think you can get me in return. It's plain blank.
The only thing is I would like my people to be very careful with the politicians that presenting themselves for election. They have to examine them, examine their character and so on, make sure that they're honest, they're intelligent, and they're hard-working people. And make sure that they can speak like St. Lucians, whether it's Creole or the English language. Because to me, there are few politicians that are speaking of like foreigners, and I just don't understand how what they're talking about. So they must be very careful with the politicians, make sure that they're honest and hardworking, and that they're there to develop the country and to help the people who are mostly in need.
I have a problem with NIC. When I was working before COVID-19, my NIC money was going to them every month. Right now, they're to help St. Lucians pick up themselves as we got laid off for work. They're taking a whole year before they send a little $5 for us St. Lucians, and they're getting our money every month. That's not helpful enough. We get the money for April since ending of May. And June, we cannot get June yet, and we just there suffering.
What that affecting me is to see that the amount of people that pass through this sickness that pass in the world, and look at how we struggle to create all such an income into this world. Big houses, fighting for property, fighting for what we have not been worked for. And I am saying to the world now, it's best we struggle to protect our citizenship in heaven instead of we struggle to protect our castle on earth. Because we have to go and leave the castle. But our citizenship with the Father is the best. So struggle to protect your citizenship in heaven instead of you struggle to protect your castle on earth, because this castle shall remain where it is.
Mommy cannot afford. She's trying. You cannot be going out there trying to get these big men that could give you something. Try to follow up with mommy. Try to help mommy. Not because mommy's not working for you to be going out there, or daddy's not working for you to be going out there with behind these big men. And your big men, the police need to do something about that. You understand? I tired of seeing these vehicles with these teenage children, little children, for crying out loud. It's not nice.
For me, I'd like to speak about the fact that people know of COVID-19, and a lot of people are walking around with no mask. They're not exercising protocol, no hand sanitizers, all the fuss about all the hand sanitizer and all the necessary stuff. They are not doing it. We're not sure what's going to happen in the next few weeks, the next few months. So I'm asking that St. Lucians, especially now that, we have no cases, you have to be thankful and continue to exercise the right processes that would allow us to stay in that position. So take care of each other, look out for each other.
That's what you had to say. For Hot 7 TV, I am Jacques Wooding. Now back to you, Rochelle.
You're watching the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us, we'll be right back.